Hey LinkedIn, Daryl Hamill with Hamill Media, and today we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to talk about lighting. Okay, so this is a small continuation from a previous video I did on how to up your cell phone game, which wasn't to go to the next camera, it was really to upgrade your audio. Using something like this, like a shotgun mic. Some people had asked questions about lighting. So there's one important thing, the single most important thing when it comes to videoing and the lighting that you use is to make sure your subject, whatever is the subject of whatever you're taking a picture of or a video of, is properly exposed. In other words, it's properly lit up using a light. For example, right now, I have what's called a key light. A key light is nothing more than the main source of light that you're using, right? It's not like a little accent light or it's not a fill light or anything like that. A key light is just that, it's key. Now, when you don't have a good key light and you have lights all around you, you're going to see an improperly exposed picture. So for example, if we have the light behind us, and it's completely blown out, and we don't have a good light in front of us, well, the key light is actually behind us. And because of that, the subject isn't lit very well. The way you overcome that is you take a light, or you use that as your key light to expose yourself, and then that way, even with the light behind you, you can still see the subject. The most important thing is that you see the subject. That's the most important thing with lighting. If you're outside, and one of the biggest mistakes I see salespeople, they'll take their cell phone, they go to make a video, and as they're going around, like the sun will be behind them. Now, this is the brightest light you can get is the sun. Like nothing beats the sun. And when you put the sun behind you, what are you doing? You're putting the key light, the brightest light, behind you. So when you go to take a video or picture, it looks horrible because the subject is probably you, and all we can see is the sun behind you. It may not be the best lighting, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to face the sun. Well, in this case, I would face my key light, right? I'll show you an example. If I face away from the key light, my face becomes less exposed. As I go to the key light, you see more of my face. So if my key light was the sun, what you're going to want to do is, even if it's blinding, you want to do your best, kind of look into it, pull up your camera, look at your camera, and then you want to pull it together and you want to talk into that using the sun as your light if you're outside. Now, if you have windows or anything like that, like say you're in an office space, use those as your key light. Face your window and use it to light your face up and just set up your cell phone or your camera there. The most important thing is to always, always, always have your subject properly lit. Here, let's use an example where I'm not properly lighting myself and I'm going to light, say, the table. Let's have a look at that. So now we can see an example where I have the table lit, as you can see up here, but I'm not properly lit. Now, granted, you can hear me well, but what's the subject of this that we're looking at? Is it the microphone? Because the light is telling us the microphone is the subject, right? Because that's what you can see most. This area here, and if there's a standout thing, it's going to be the microphone. It's not me talking. This is an example of how you can use lighting to make your subject stand out. Now let's use an example of where we can make our subject stand out. Now we can see that the subject is me talking. It's not the microphone. Again, the lighting is going to dictate where the eyes go. Now let's look at a different scenario where we can even enhance the lighting to make it look better. So what I've done is I've turned my key light back on, but you can play with lights to kind of make your scene look the way you want to. Now, if you're outside with a cell phone and you have the sun, the only thing you really can do is just kind of go around and see, where the sun's not so harsh. What I like to do is usually go under something like an awning or under a tree where it kind of diffuses the sun a little bit, like diffuses. In other words, the sun's not directly beaming down. It's kind of scattered a little bit or blocked a little bit. so you get more of an ambient light. And then I like to take a video there. You know what, let's just kind of mess around in here a little bit. I'm gonna turn on some extra lights just so we can see how we can play with lights. So right here we have the key light coming at me, creating some shadows. Now I'm gonna use what's called the fill light. Okay, and as we can see, we have like little accent lights now. This portion of the table lit up a little bit more, but as well as our practicals or our devices that we have on the table. And then I'm gonna turn on one more light. This is an overhead light. Now that lights me up a little bit more. It lights up the microphone in front of me as well as what's in front of me on the table. So these are 3 lights that I'm using right now to enhance the scene. But the most important thing is right there. It's your key light. It's to make sure that you're properly exposed. We're gonna turn this light on. We're gonna turn the fill light on. And then we're gonna turn on what we call our practical lights. And we're gonna light up our flag. And so this is how you can use lighting to enhance a scene. This is a little bit more advanced when you get to this. But again, always remember the most important thing is to use your key light to make sure your subject, whatever it may be, is properly exposed so that it is the visual subject of whatever it is that you want to show people. Again, Daryl Hamill with Hamill Media. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. If you have any questions, make sure you comment below or send me a message and let me know if you'd like to see any other videos on anything regarding video or photography that can help you up your game.